In this lesson, I want to cover two things: default settings and macros. A default setting means that when you open a brand new document like I just did here, whatever the settings are, those are the settings that are happening by default automatically. Now, you may not be happy with them. You can change them. So, see these little windows here, these little arrows here? That means give me all fonts. So if I don't like this font being the font that automatically happens, I can change it. I believe the standard for most, for Office 2013 is Calibri 11. So let's say that you wanted Calibri 11 to be the default font. You would choose it from here, and then you would select Set as Default. And this document or all? I would say all. Right? You can do the same thing for paragraph. I'm not happy with the paragraph settings that come with this version of Word. So I'm going to say I'm used to not having any spacing after, and I certainly don't want double spacing. I want single, or I might even want exactly, or multiple. I might want, no, I don't like any of these. So I'm just going to go single. And then I can set this as default for all documents. All right, and I can do the same thing with page layout and the page setup and the margins. I can change that, but I do like 1, 1, 1, and 1. Now, so that's one thing that you can do, and now any new document I open will have that. Once in a while, you may want something different, and that's where macros come in. And a macro is like a recording of steps that you want to be performed automatically. So you go to View, you go to Macros, and you say, give me a brand new macro. I want to record a new macro. And here, you always have to give it a name. Again, don't use any spaces. These things tend not to like spaces. So I'm going to go new underscore page. So I want a new page. Now, I want this stored so that it's available on any document. And by default, if I hit OK, it's going to start recording. And whatever I do, it's recording my steps. And then whenever I want to launch this macro, I would go to macro, find it from the list, and run it. All right. Now, I want you to know that you can also assign a button to your quick access toolbar that will run that. Neat. So I'm going to say, yeah, give me that feature. Give me a button. And this is the name of my macro here. It's called new page. So I'm going to add that. Now, I'm not crazy about that symbol, so I'm going to modify the symbol. Very neat as well. And have all these cool things to choose from. And you'd probably want to choose something that is indicative of a new page. Now, I don't want this lesson to go forever, so I'm just going to pick this one right here. And display name. I don't know that I want that display name to be on my toolbar. So maybe just, can I go new? There we go. New, and it looks like something, yeah. So I'm going to hit OK now. And right now, see my mouse is a little cassette, old school. It means it's recording. Don't be worried about the amount of time, right? I'm gabbing on. It's not recording the amount of time that it's taking for me to perform the steps. It's simply going to record the steps. And the steps, you need to use your mouse in order to perform them. So I'm going to start by going to Home. I'm going to change this. So Calibri I've set as a default, but every once in a while, I want to go old school. I want to go Times New Roman, and I want to go 12. Okay, so that's part of my macro. The next part of my macro, I'm cheap as well. So if I have to print paper, I want to use up as much of the page as possible. So I'm going to squeeze my margins a little. I want to leave room for headers and footers and stuff, but if I can squeeze some more words onto a document, that's going to save the amount of paper that I end up using. So I'm going to save that. So I've saved the font. I've saved the size of the page. You know what? I don't know that I need to do a whole bunch more than that. So when you're done recording, you can go to macro here and stop recording. So even though it took me an hour to do that, it only recorded the steps. So let's try it. So I'm going to go to a new document here, and I've got Calibri 11, right? So from here, if I hit that, it should change to Times New Roman, and these should change as well. So instead of being 6.5, it'll be a little bit more. So I'm going to hit that macro, and there we go. Times New Roman 12, and my margins changed. Limited only to your imagination. That's the amount of things that you can put in a macro. Simple, easy to use. Don't be scared of them. Use them. They work really well. The last thing I forgot to mention is when you're assigning a macro, I never do this, but you can assign keyboard steps to it, all right? So here you go Control X, let's say, okay? And if it's being used, it'll tell you that you can't use that combination. You got to use a different combination. So some people are really into keyboard combinations. And if you're one of those people, instead of doing the button like I did here, you can save it this way. Personally, not a big fan. I don't remember all of those shortcuts, but if that's what you want, you may do that as well. And if I go to my list of macros here, right, so I've got those two that are there. I'm going to delete the last one that I just did because I don't really want that one. Oh, it's not done. So did I start recording? Oh yeah, I inadvertently started recording that one. So now I'm going to delete it. And delete. Yep. All right, there you go, macros. Macros and defaults. Now, when we recorded the macro, we had a choice of saving it on our computer so that it's always available in Word or in that particular document. And you may receive or send documents that have a macro embedded inside of it, and they're going to show up as macro-enabled documents. And when you open that for the first time, you're probably going to get a warning. So I'm going to go ahead and open that. And there's the warning. And by default, your computer will automatically disable the macros so that they don't run, because that's how people can easily send a virus that's embedded in a document. So, but if you trust it and you know who it came from and you know that's going to have a macro, you would simply enable the content right here, and that macro would run, and you'll be able to start working on the document. So I'm just going to hit enable, and it's good to go. Next, about shortcuts, a few more things about shortcuts. You can assign your own shortcuts to things. Now, if you use View on a regular basis and you like to go to 100% and you want to just be able to go Control something to make it 100%, there is no shortcut for this particular tool. Now, if you go to Home and you hover, you'll notice that for paste, it's Control V. For cut, it's Control X. For copy, it's Control C. So a lot of the common things have shortcuts. So if you want to assign your own, you can. And here's how you do it. I'm going to right click here on the toolbar area, the ribbon area. And I'm going to go to customize the ribbon, I believe is where I want to be. And now I want to customize some keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to come here. This is kind of neat. So you just choose whatever one. So from the ribbons, I want to go View. I want a shortcut for 100%. So for View tab, it's going to show you all of your options here. So Zoom 100% currently has no shortcuts assigned to it. So I want Control, what can I choose? Control 0 for 100%. That's not being used anywhere. Control 1, I'm pretty sure, is already set for single spacing, and I don't want to replace that because I actually use that one. So Control 0 will give me a zoom of 100%, and I'm going to assign that. Now, if for some reason you decide you don't want that, you can remove it, okay? And so you can delete that one, remove it right here. You can reset all of them. So if you've set a whole bunch of them, you can. If you don't like the shortcuts that have been assigned, you can change them. You almost have too much choice here, but just so you know, you have that. So I've already set Control 0, so that will give me 100% zoom quickly and easily. And I'm going to try it out. And there it is. It worked. Fast and easy. Control 0 is now zoomed to 100%. Next thing, I don't find this one incredibly useful, but they want me to teach you this one. So we've got symbols, right? All kinds of symbols to choose from. You've got some from the list, but you've, of course, got all these wingdings to choose from. And if you don't have enough there, you've got, I believe, thousands all over the place. So if you use a symbol on a regular basis and you want to bring it in with a shortcut, they want me to tell you that you can do that. So if I click on this one, I can now assign a shortcut key to the keypad, and I can go Control K, which is not being used anywhere. So if I assign that and close it, anytime I hit Control K, I'm going to get a keypad. All right, so all kinds of stuff for you there about shortcuts, customizing defaults, etc.